हो गया ना? एक्सपोजर, हाँ एक्सपोजर आप चेक कर लीजिए। हाँ 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 ठीक ठीक ठीक। अच्छा हाँ जी, गुड आफ्टरनून एवरीवन, गुड आफ्टरनून। यस गुड आफ्टरनून, ए साहू गुड आफ्टरनून, वेलकम एवरीवन, गुड आफ्टरनून। Yes, good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. So let us wait for one more minute, okay? So let others also join. Then we will start with this topic, okay? In the engineering mathematics. So we'll be starting a very special topic today. Okay, good afternoon, yes, good afternoon, everyone, good afternoon, good afternoon, yes. So let others come also, right? Okay, till then let us discuss a few things about engineering mathematics. So you must be knowing a lot of things about engineering mathematics, but regarding the weightage, I also told in the fluid mechanics also when I was teaching you the fluid mechanics that engineering mathematics, it has a very crucial role to play, right, in GATE examination. As far as the last 5 or 6 years have been concerned, if you see the pattern of last 5 or 6 years, consistently questions have been asked from engineering mathematics, and the weightage of questions, weightage of marks in engineering mathematics around 15%, okay. So as far as the engineering mathematics is concerned, now let us first of all talk about the weightage. So the weightage is around 15 marks, okay, 15%. Weightage is around 15% from pattern of last 4 to 5 years. Pattern of last 4 to 5 years pattern, right? It is not going to change, it is almost be same, right? Sometimes I have seen that the engineering mathematics portion, it also has gone beyond 15%, right? Beyond 15%. I guess it was in 2014 or 13, around 18 marks questions were asked from engineering mathematics portion. So as you can see that it is going to play a very important role in deciding your rank in GATE examination, okay. As far as some students are concerned, some students they just want that they just have to clear GATE exam. So there is nothing to do anything with the rank or anything. They just want to clear GATE exam, and they just want to do MTech in some IIT or NIT, right? A good type of MTech, okay. So what they do is that they just go in the examination preparing your engineering mathematics, preparing the aptitude and some technical subjects which they find quite easier, right? So I have seen a lot of students who just want to crack GATE exam, okay. There is nothing to do with the rank, so they prepare mathematics plus aptitude and plus 1 or 2 technical subjects. You can easily clear GATE exam, you can easily get 40, even 45 marks also if you do this thing. But since we are not here just to clear GATE exam, okay, maximum of you will do that thing, but we are here to get a good rank in GATE exam. So our target would be to get around 13 to 15 marks in maths. Out of 15, 13 to 15 marks in maths. Because it has been found that out of 15% of the total weightage, you can say 12 or 13 marks are quite medium in difficulty level. 1 or 2 marks can be of a higher difficulty level, okay. So we'll be discussing all these things, okay. I hope that you will be able to understand each and everything of the engineering mathematics portion. So today what we are going to do is that we are going to start with a very complex topic, okay, very complex topic. A lot of students find it a very complex, otherwise it is very easy, called as the complex numbers. So we'll be starting with the complex numbers. Complex numbers. Yes, good afternoon everyone, good afternoon. Let us go to the background of complex numbers. So what was the need of defining a complex number? If you see the syllabus of GATE examination, you will find that complex number is given, triangle inequality is given, right, okay. So only 3 topics have been given in complex numbers. But when you see the previous year questions, questions about the integration, right, which has the Cauchy theorem, Cauchy integral theorem, residue theorem, all those questions have also been asked in GATE exam. So just by writing complex number, it does not mean that we just have to calculate the mod of the complex number and the argument or of the complex number, or we just have to place a particular complex number in an arrogant plane. It doesn't mean that. It means that we have to, at least we should have an idea of all those things. The Cauchy theorem, okay, what the CR equations, analytical functions, all those things. We should have a little bit idea about all those things. Clear? Now let us understand why was a need to introduce this complex number. Okay, so when I was in college, so we used to debate among friends, right? Okay, the debate was like this: what is the use of pi? What is the use of pi? Even you must have done all these things in your college. What is the use of pi? Do you ever go to a shopkeeper and say, give me 1 pi of sugar? No, it is not like that. You also say that give me 2 kilograms of sugar or 3 kilograms of whatever. So what is the real use of pi in our real life, day-to-day life? So I used to debate a lot of things with my friends. Similar goes with the complex numbers also. So we used to debate a lot of things with my friends. What is the use of complex numbers? Why has this been introduced? Although we never came to a conclusion, but a lot of things I'd like to tell you today. Okay, the thing is that even the negative numbers, that is your -1, -2, -3, -4, etc. Where do you use these numbers in your day-to-day life? Except temperature. Where do you use these numbers in your day-to-day life? Give me -1 kilograms of sugar. Have you ever said that give me -1 kilograms of sugar? Okay, except temperature and pressure. Obviously in pressure also you can use the negative numbers. Okay, if you are comparing the absolute pressure as to be the you can say negative side, then it will be negative. If you are considering absolute pressure to be 0, then everything above it would be positive, or you can say 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 like this. Okay, so except temperature and pressure, where do you use negative numbers in your real life? So even negative numbers is an absurdity, right? Even the negative numbers are so absurd. Same goes with the complex number. Because whatever the SI units we have, kilogram, right? Meters, second, etc. All these things, whatever the SI units we have, we generally use the positive integers. Okay? Similarly, as far as the under root 2 is concerned, if you do under root, it is an irrational number. It will keep on increasing. If you solve it, it will keep on increasing. So what is the use of that? Now let us come to the conclusion now. So what is the use of that? Let me first of all tell you how these complex numbers were invented. So there was a scientist whose name was Cardano. Cardano was the name. Cardano. C-A-R-D-A-N-O. The spelling might be wrong. Okay. So Giorgio Cardano, it was something name. Okay. In 16th century, he came out with the concept of complex numbers, right? Again, the invention of complex numbers is also very complex. Some people are saying Cardano invented the complex numbers, okay? Some people are saying some other things. Now the question is how these complex numbers were invented. Let us move to an equation. Okay? The equation is x square minus 4 is equal to 0. Or x square minus 1 equal to 0. Let us say this is an equation. If you want to find out the solution of this equation, what would it be? It would be, for example, for the x square minus 4, it would be x is equals to plus minus 2, simple. And for this x square minus 1, it would be x is equals to plus minus 1, simple. Now, what is the meaning of solution of an equation? The meaning of solution of an equation is that if you put these results back into this equation, the particular results will satisfy the equation. So for example, if you put it here, so either minus 2 square minus 4, it will also be 0, or plus 2 square minus 4, it will also be equal to 0. Similarly, the same goes with the plus minus 1 itself. Clear? Let me give you an equation. The equation is like this. x square plus 1 equal to 0. Let me give you an equation. X square plus 1 is equals to 0. Now, if you look at the equation, if you look at this equation, you know that if this equation is given, it has to satisfy something. Some value, this x value, some value has to satisfy the equation. But square of something, whether it is a negative number or whether it is a positive integer, square of something will always be a positive quantity. So how can a number satisfy this particular equation? Again, it's an absurdity, right? Again, it is also an absurdity. Absurd equation. Absurd. Again, it's an absurd equation. Okay? Now, from this equation, the concept of complex numbers came into picture. And as I told that, he invented the complex number. He gave some idea about the complex numbers. And after that, in 18th century, 19th century, we have Euler, right? In you can say FM also, we have the Euler's equation of motion. That is the same Euler, right? Euler, Cauchy, Riemann, all these you can say mathematicians, they elaborated the complex equations and they gave a few results from the complex equations, which we are going to study in this chapter. Okay, so what he said that if you put your negative on the other side, you will be getting x square is equals to minus 1. Obviously, how can a square of a number can be negative? But again, x square should be minus 1, then only it will satisfy the condition. And then he came out with the concept of I. I is called as iota. I is called as iota. And the value of I is, you must be knowing, the value of I is under root of minus 1. Under root of minus 1. So if you put it here, that is under root of minus 1 square plus 1, it will satisfy the particular equation. Okay? And these types of numbers which are in the form of iota are called as the complex numbers. Okay? But when these numbers were invented, so mathematicians found a lot of problems while placing these numbers on the real plane. So what is the real plane? You must be knowing what is the real plane. This is my x-axis, this is my y-axis, minus x-axis, minus y-axis, okay? So this is the real plane. So mathematicians found very difficult to place these types of numbers on a real plane. And hence they invented a new type of plane which is called as the imaginary plane. I'll be telling you what is imaginary plane. You want to write, you can write, okay? Otherwise we'll be discussing in detail. They invented the imaginary plane, which is also called as the complex plane, and which is also called as the Argand plane, A-R-G-A-N-D, right? Argand plane. So this was a brief introduction about the complex numbers. Okay? Now how to represent the complex number, what is argument of a complex number, how to divide a complex number, how to multiply complex numbers, how to add and subtract complex numbers, that we are going to discuss in this particular chapter for the time being, and then we will be moving to the analytical functions. Okay, first of all the complex functions, then what is an analytical functions, what is a CR equation, okay, what is Milne's method, how to solve complex numbers, and the last we will be talking about the residues. After the Cauchy integral formula, we have the residues. So we will be discussing all these things, and plus a very short topic, that is a triangle inequality in the complex numbers, and then we will be finishing the complex numbers. Clear? So I have started from the very basic level. If you don't know what is complex number, I hope that you must be knowing what is a complex number in class 12th and 11th. But still, I am hoping that you don't know anything, so I am starting from the level 0. Even if you don't know what is a complex number, you will be able to understand what is a complex number. Okay? Now let us proceed. I hope that you have noted down. So please tell us some books about for practice. Okay, so for practice, see, if you ask me regarding practice, if you solve previous year gate questions, okay. Now let us do one thing. Because there are a lot of books about. Some people are referring H.K. Das, okay. Some people are referring some other books. I am not going to refer any book, okay. Just remember one thing. Whatever I am going to teach you in the class, plus I will be giving you some assignments, okay. And that will be more than sufficient for you. You take any previous year question, whether it is of chemical, whether it is of mechanical, civil or any branch, you will be able to solve any question from engineering mathematics. That is for sure. Because every types of questions I will be solving in the class plus in the assignment also. That would be more than sufficient for you. But still, if you want to do PhD in mathematics, I would refer go for H.K. Das. But that is not required. So whatever I will be teaching you, that would be more than sufficient for you. Okay? So now, कुछ काला काला हो गया ना. थोड़ा काला हो गया शायद ना. लेट मी यूज अ ब्लू मार्कर. Okay. So till now what we have learned? So we have learned that this I is under root of minus 1. Till now we have learned this. Let us do a few things with this I, which will be useful in solving numericals. So what is the first thing that we have to do? What is this I square? I square will be minus 1, simple. What is I cube? So I cube, iota cube, can I write it like this? I square into I. What is this? I square is minus 1. So I cube will be equal to minus I. I raised to the power 4. I raised to the power 4. It will be equal to I square into I square. That is minus 1 into minus 1. That is 1. Similarly, I raised to the power 5 will be equal to I raised to the power 4 into I, that will be equal to I. Similarly, I raised to the power 6 will be equal to I raised to the power 4 into I square, that is 1 into minus 1 is equals to minus 1. Okay, I am going to tell you a trend. So there is a trend, you can learn the trend. Okay, I raised to the power 7, it will be equal to I raised to the power 6 into I, that is minus 1 into I, that is equals to minus I. Similarly, I raised to the power 8 will be equal to I raised to the power 4 into I raised to the power 4, that is 1 into 1, that is 1. So why I am writing all these things? So you will find a trend. The trend is that, see this 4, this 8 and others also. So I can write a general expression, that is I raised to the power 4 times of n is equals to 1. I raised to the power 4 times of n is equals to 1, where is n is an integer. N is an integer, where n is an integer. This will be used in solving a few numericals. Okay, so you just write down this particular thing. So I raised to the power 4 times of n is equals to 1, where n is an integer. Question. I raised to the power 37 plus 1 upon I raised to the power 37 square will be equal to what? Option number A minus I, option number B plus I, option number C, let us say it is 1, and option number D, let us say it is 0. What will it be equal to? Okay, you do not solve this question, because to solve this question we need a special property. Some of you might solve this question, but now you do not solve this question. We will be solving this question after some time. Okay, you just write down this question. After some time we will be solving this question. Okay, this is a hypothetical question. I have just given a question. I don't know the answer of this question. We will be solving this question. We will see what is the answer of this question. But to solve this question, we need the property of product and divisibility, okay, which I'll be telling you in a later while. So how to divide and how to multiply two complex numbers, then you will be able to easily solve this particular question, okay. Just write down this question and you'll be solving this question in a short while, okay. Okay, see, some people have already got the answer. Okay, see, okay, so please don't give me the answer. Please, we'll be solving it after a short while, okay. I know that you know this, how to solve complex numbers, but still we'll be solving it later while, okay. Just write down this particular question. Because I am assuming here that you do not know anything of complex numbers, and that is how we are proceeding. Representation of complex number. Representation of complex number. People have already got the answer. Okay. So representation of complex number. So some of you might not have got the answer. Don't worry, we will be solving it in a later while. Representation of a complex number. Again, it is a very important topic. So in this topic, I will be going to a very zero level, okay. From a very zero level, I will be starting this particular topic, which is called as the representation of a complex number. So how can you represent a complex number? How can you represent a complex number? So the general representation of a complex number, so complex number in most of the books, it is written by a Z. So Z means a complex number. So the general representation of complex number Z is equals to X plus I Y. This is a general representation of a complex number. Clear? Now what is this X? X is called as a real part of a complex number Z. X is called as the real part of a complex number Z. Now what is the meaning of this real part? Why do we call it a real part? Okay, I'll be telling you in a short while, don't worry. Y. So Y is called as the imaginary part of complex number Z. Y is called as the imaginary part of the complex number Z. Clear? Now, this Z is the complex number. Now, let us understand the representation of a complex number in a complex plane. So, a short while I told you that the complex numbers, they cannot be represented in a real plane. For these types of complex numbers, Euler designed a special plane which is called as the complex plane or the imaginary plane. Now what is the imaginary plane or a complex plane? See, what is a complex number? So you find that complex from the word. If you see the word, it is very complex in nature. It is very complex in nature. Clear? Some of you might have watched this movie Interstellar. So how many of you have watched this movie Interstellar? Thoda sa fast. I know that I have to increase the speed. Don't worry, because some students, okay, I won't blame them, okay, because this particular thing is not known to a few students, okay. I'm not taking the names, but this particular thing is not, you can say, known to a few students. So I am teaching, you can say, from the very zero level, and then slowly will increase the speed. Don't worry, okay. So how many of you have watched this movie Interstellar? Okay, some people, okay. Some people have watched. If you have not watched, if the time permits, you should watch that particular movie. In that particular movie, Interstellar, so you must have heard this word which is called as the singularity. Okay, so when they were traveling in a spaceship, they are saying that on this place the space and time is a singularity. On this place the space and time is a singularity. Now what does it mean? Singularity means it is not defined. Singularity means it is not defined at that particular point. It means that space and time is not defined at a particular point. So space and time becomes they complex in nature. Same goes with the complex numbers. It is very much complex in nature. These are very much complex in nature. But still, to simplify the complex numbers, we have some tricks and methods. Okay. So how to represent a complex number in an Argand plane? Let us understand this. So the x-axis is called as the real axis. X-axis is called as the real axis, where we put this x, the real numbers. The y-axis is called as the imaginary axis. Remember this thing. The y-axis is called as the imaginary axis. Okay, where we put the imaginary numbers. So if somebody is saying you that z is equals to 2 plus 3i, place this or put this particular number in a complex plane. How would you put it? See, what is the real part? So the real part is number 2. What is the imaginary part? Imaginary part is number 3. Okay, so if you put it here, so see, this is your 0. Let us say this is your 1, this is your 2, this is your 3, this is your 4. Similarly here, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So if you put it here, 2 plus 3i. 2 plus 3i, how would you put it? It would be somewhere here is the 2, it would be somewhere here is the 3. So if this will be the, so if you join this point is 2 plus 3i. It can also be represented as 2 comma 3. It can also be represented as 2 comma 3. Okay. So that is my first quadrant, this is the second quadrant, this is the third quadrant, this is the fourth quadrant, okay. Similarly, if somebody is saying you place z is equals to minus 2 plus 3i, minus 2 plus 3i in a complex plane, minus 2, so minus 2 minus negative part would be somewhere here and plus 3 would be somewhere here. So here you will get a point which will represent minus 2 plus 3i. Similarly, minus 2 minus 3i would be somewhere here and plus 2 minus 3i would be somewhere here. So that is how we represent a particular complex number. The next point here is called as the modulus of a complex number. The next point is modulus of a complex number. The modulus of a complex number. Clear? Now this mod z will be equal to mod of x plus I into y. Mod of x plus I into y. How to solve it, I will be telling you. But let me tell you one thing. What does it represent, the modulus of a complex number? The modulus of a complex number, it represents the distance of that particular point from the origin. What does it represent? It represents the distance of a particular point from the origin. So if somebody is asking you, what is the modulus of a complex number? So modulus of a complex number is the distance, okay, is the distance of that particular complex number from the origin is called as the modulus of a complex number. How to solve it? I'll be telling you in a later while. Okay, so it means that this distance will be called as the mod of z. Sometimes it is also represented as r also. That is the mod of z. Okay. Okay. These topics are easy and hard topics may not be get under. मखाने ने क्या हो गया ये? Okay. Okay, in which language are you talking about? Nolan Uyar. Nolan, what is this Nolan Uyar? Okay. Okay, hard topics may not get time. Don't worry, I'll be covering hard topics. Don't worry. Okay, I'll be giving sufficient time to the hard topics. Don't worry about it. Okay, because we have to match with the speeds of every student. Okay. Somebody is a slow learner, somebody is a fast learner. I know that you are a very fast learner, very good. Okay, but still some students are slower, so we have to match with the speed of every student. Okay, don't worry. So modulus of a complex number. So modulus of a complex number gives you the distance of that particular point from the origin, gives you the modulus of a complex number. Okay. Now I ask you a question that just by looking at this is positive, you said that it will be in the first quadrant, okay, you said that -2 and +3, it would be in the second quadrant and so on. So this is the number one representation of a complex number in a complex plane. Now the location of a complex number in a complex plane can also be represented with the help of an angle also, which is called as the argument. Okay, so for example, this is a complex number, it makes an angle of, let us say, theta with this particular point. So I will say that this complex number is at an angle of this and the radius is this, so I will get the location of that particular complex number. Similarly, if a complex number is somewhere here, I will say that the distance of this particular point or the mod of the complex number, let us say it is 5 units, and the argument, let us say it is 120 degrees, so you will get the location of this particular point. So we can have two representations. Okay, which is, one is called as the normal representation and one is called as the polar representation. Now what is the polar representation, how to represent a particular complex number in the polar form, I will be coming to that topic also. Okay, so that is the number one way of representing a particular complex number in a particular plane. Clear? Argument of a complex number. Argument of a complex number. Okay, last time, okay. Don't worry, for that I have already told you, I will be taking a special class, don't worry about it, okay. So argument of a complex number. Now what is the argument of a complex number? It is the angle which the complex number or is making with a particular axis, okay. Now for example, if it is given to you z is equals to x plus I into y, okay, then the argument of z will be equal to tan inverse y upon x. How to represent it? Let us say this is my complex plane, this is the imaginary axis, this is my real axis, okay. Let us say plus x plus y is the point somewhere here, is x comma y somewhere here, okay. Now if you join this, then this is the angle that you have. This angle is theta, is called as the argument. This theta is called as the argument of that particular complex number. How can you get it? So this value is your x, this value is your y. So from this particular triangle you can get the value of this argument. Very simple thing this, okay. Argument of a complex number. Now third point which we use in the complex number is called as the conjugate of a complex number. Is called as the conjugate of a complex number. Conjugate of a complex number. Okay, some of you who are saying that, sir, this is very easy. Okay, this is very easy. So till then you solve one question. Okay, till then you solve one question. Who think that this is very easy? Okay, okay. X raised to the power 4 minus 1 is equal to 0. Okay, this is for the other students who are saying this easy. It will be equal to x raised to the power 4 is equals to 1. X raised to the power 4 is equals to 1. Okay. So here you will be getting x is equals to plus minus 1 and plus minus I, because all four numbers will be satisfying this particular equation. Let me take the value of x is equals to I. Let me take the value of x is equals to I. Okay. So this particular equation can be written as x square minus 1 x square plus 1 is equals to 0. Okay. And from this I can write that x square is equals to 1, because what is the meaning of a particular solution? It should satisfy that particular equation. Okay. If you put it here, you will be getting I square which is equals to minus 1, which is not equal to 1. How is it possible? So till others, let us focus there, right? Conjugate of a complex number. Conjugate of a complex number. Okay, so people who think it is easy, so they solve this particular thing. How is it possible? What is the meaning of a root? It should satisfy the equation. It is not satisfying. How is it possible? Conjugate of a complex number. So z is equals to x plus I into y. Z is equals to x plus I into y. Now if somebody is saying that calculate the conjugate of a complex number, it is represented by z bar, and z bar is equals to x minus I into y. It is very simple, right? Conjugate of a complex number is very simple. X minus Iy. If somebody is saying x plus Iy is the complex number, the conjugate of a complex number will be x minus Iy. You note it down, then we will proceed further. Some important results. Some important results. So there are some important results we should remember while calculating or while solving a complex number. So the first result is about sin x. So from the Taylor's expansion, now the question is, sir, what is this Taylor's expansion? Okay, what is Maclaurin series? What is Taylor's expansion? I'll be telling you when I'll be discussing the calculus part. Okay, when I'll be discussing the calculus part, there I'll be telling you what is Taylor's expression, what is Maclaurin series. All these things are solved with the help of Maclaurin series. Okay, so sin x can be represented as, this is number 1, which is very important. Number 1 is sin x is represented by, can be equal to x minus x cube upon 3 factorial plus x raised to the power 5 upon 5 factorial minus x raised to the power 7 upon 7 factorial plus x raised to the power 9 upon 9 factorial and so on and so on. That is the representation of sin x. That is the representation of sin x. Number 2, cos x. Now the question is, sir, I might forget this formula. It might be possible, sir, I might forget this formula. If you can forget this formula, don't worry. In calculus, I will be telling you the Maclaurin series and the Taylor series or the Taylor expansion. There you will just hardly in 10 or 12 seconds, you will be able to write the series, okay, with the help of the Taylor expansion. Newton forward difference formula, backward difference formula, each thing I will be telling you, okay. So cos x can be written as 1 minus x square upon 2 factorial plus x4 upon 4 factorial minus x6 upon 6 factorial plus x8 upon 8 factorial and so on. That is how it can be. Okay, somebody saying, sir, x is equals to I corresponds to x square plus 1, so it becomes 0 if we put it, hence we cannot put it in the x square minus 1 as that it is not 0 but the other factor is 0. Okay, I will be coming to that point also. Very good, Sarthak, so I will be coming to that point also. So number 3. Number 3 is the e raised to the power x. That is 1 plus x square upon 2 factorial plus x cube upon 3 factorial plus x4 upon 4 factorial and plus so on. That is e raised to the power x expansion. Number 4, which is important while solving the complex numbers, okay. Number 4 would be, now in this e raised to the power x, put x, you put it as I into y. You put it as I into y. In this particular thing, you put x is equals to I into y. Let us see what we will get. So we will be getting e raised to the power I into y is equal to e raised to the power I into y. It will be equal to, let me put it here. So 1 plus I into y plus I into y upon 2 factorial square plus I into y whole cube upon 3 factorial plus I into y raised to the power 4 upon 4 factorial plus I into y raised to the power 5 upon 5 factorial and plus I into y raised to the power 6 upon 6 factorial and plus so on. This is what we will be getting. Okay. Now let us solve it a little bit. What we will get, we will see. So 1 plus I into y, I square is minus 1. So minus y square upon 2 factorial. Okay. I cube will be minus I. So minus I into y cube upon 3 factorial plus I raised to the power 4. Because I raised to the power 4 times of n will be equal to 1, right? So I raised to the power 4 will be equal to y raised to the power 4 upon 4 factorial plus I raised to the power 5 will be equal to plus I, okay? Plus I into y raised to power 5 upon 5 factorial, and it will be equal to minus 1 again. So minus y raised to the power 6 upon 6 factorial. If you further solve it, next will be equal to I raised to the power 7. It will be equal to minus I. So minus I into y raised to the power 7 upon 7 factorial. Next one, y raised to power 8 will be equal to y raised to power 8 divided by 8 factorial, and so on. So this is what we will be getting. Now the question is, sir, why are you doing this thing? So there is a reason for that. Okay, let me rub this thing. Okay, let me rub this. We will be coming to that particular point also. Now let me do one thing. Let me do one thing is that let me take the I common together and the real common together. Let me take the complex numbers together, because this I, everything has complex number. Let me take it together and the other numbers together. So if you do this thing, you will be getting, what is the real number? 1 minus y square upon 2 factorial. Let me write it here. 1 minus y square upon 2 factorial. So this is one real, this is one real. Okay. Another one is this, plus y raised to power 4 plus y raised to power 4 upon 4 factorial. 4 upon 4 factorial. Okay. What else we have? This particular number minus y raised to power 6 upon 6 factorial, and so on. And let me take the I common also, plus I. So if you take I, it will be y, right? It will be y cube upon 3 factorial. Y minus y cube upon 3 factorial. Okay. Y minus y cube upon 3 factorial. Here we have y raised to power 5 upon 5 factorial plus y raised to power 5 upon 5 factorial. Here we have minus y raised to power 7 factorial and plus so on, like this. And that is equals to e raised to the power I into y. Clear? यहाँ तो कोई दिक्कत नहीं है? Okay. Now let us again proceed further. So you will find that this particular thing, if you replace here y or if you replace here y, so this particular thing which is the first term, this whole term is equal to this cos x or cos y. If you put x equals to y, it will be cos y. Clear? And this particular term, all these terms are equal to this particular point. Okay? So what can we find from this? So we can find that I can write e raised to the power I into y is equals to cos y plus I sin y. Cos y plus I into sin of y. So this is what I can write from this particular term. Note it down, it will be very useful in solving a lot of numericals. Okay, so e raised to the power I into y can be written as cos y plus I sin y. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is number 4, important result. Number 4 important result. Number 5 important result, if you put y is equals to minus y. Okay. Number 5 important result, number 5. If you put e raised to the power minus iy, it will be equal to cos of minus y plus I sin of minus y. Any doubts? And cos of minus theta is cos theta. Cos of minus theta is cos theta, okay? So that will be equal to cos of y minus I sin of y. Cos of y minus I sin of y. This is point number 5 or the important result number 5. E raised to the power minus iy is equals to this much. Okay, number 5. Number 6 would be number 6 important result. Let me do one thing. So it was e raised to the power I into y is equals to this much, okay, which is equals to cos y plus I sin y. Let me do one thing. Let me add these two. So e raised to the power I into y plus e raised to the power minus I into y is equals to cos y will get added. So cos y will give you 2 cos y, and sin I will get cancelled out. It will be equal to 2 times of cos of y. So you can write that cos of y will be equal to e raised to power I into y plus e raised to power minus I into y divided by 2. This is number 6 result, which will be important. Now see, any real identity can be converted into a complex number. That is also the beauty of mathematics. See, this cos y, cos 60 degree, cos pi by 3 or cos 2 pi by 3, whatever it is, it will have some real identity and it has been converted into a complex number. Similarly, if we have z is equals to only I, it is called as the purely imaginary number. Why? Because it can also be written as 0 plus I, where the real part is 0 and we have the imaginary part. These types of numbers are also called as the purely imaginary number. Similarly, a purely real number, let us say that somebody is saying z is equals to 2. It means that 2 plus 0i. This is again a real number. It can be converted into a complex form. So that is also the beauty of mathematics. You can convert any number into other number. Okay. For example, this. What is the benefit of using a Maclaurin series of Taylor series? See, a trigonometric function can be converted into an algebraic function. Okay. For example, cos of x was equal to x minus x square upon 2 factorial, okay, plus x raised to power 4 upon this. So a trigonometric function can be converted into an algebraic function. So do you see the beauty of mathematics here? It was a trigonometric function. If you draw the graph also, sin theta graph would be somewhat like this. Okay, and it has been converted into a trigonometric, an algebraic function with the help of Maclaurin series or Taylor series. Okay. So that is the number 6 point we can have, number 6 result. Number 7 result from this particular point we can have. Let us subtract these two. Okay, so if you subtract these two, you will be getting e raised to the power iy minus e raised to the power minus iy. It will be equal to cos y will get cancelled out. It will be 2 times of I into sin y. 2 times of I into sin of y. Clear? Or you can write that sin y will be equal to e raised to the power I into y minus e raised to the power minus I into y divided by 2 times of I. Divided by 2 times of I. Number 8th important point or number 8th important result will be the hyperbolic functions. Okay, will be the hyperbolic functions. Let me rub this. Number 8, hyperbolic. So this you must have also done in class 12th also, hyperbolic. So sine hyperbolic x can be written as sine s n means negative. So we will have e raised to the power x minus e raised to the power x minus e raised to the power minus x divided by 2. And cos hyperbolic x, C stands for cos, S stands for summation. Summation means positive, okay? So that is how I have remembered it. Because I have seen that a lot of students forget this, whether sign was positive or sign was negative. So that is how I have remembered it. It is e raised to the power x plus e raised to the power minus x divided by 2. And dear students, questions have already been asked from the hyperbolic function. Not a typical question, but just a matching the, you can say, on left hand side something is given sine hyperbolic x. On right hand side you have some column, so you have to match the column. Questions have already been asked in GATE exam, in chemical also and other branch also. So that is the eighth important result which you should remember. That is the sine hyperbolic x and the cos hyperbolic x. So what are hyperbolic functions? Okay. So in the calculus also we'll be discussing in detail rectangular hyperbolic xy is equals to some constant c, or x square upon a square minus x y square upon b square is equals to 1. That will be discussing in the calculus also. Okay. Now let me tell you finally what is the meaning of mod. So mod is the distance from the origin to that particular point. Okay. So suppose that z is given to you x plus I into y. If you represent it in the first quadrant, this is your x comma y, or it can also be represented as x plus I into y. This is the point. So this is the origin O. So if you join origin with this particular point, this particular distance is called as the mode of a particular number. Okay, so mode will be equal to this mod of z will be equal to, if this is xy, that is x minus 0 whole square plus y minus 0 whole square under root. So mode of a function will be equal to x square plus y square of under root will be mod of z. It is also written as r also in polar form. Now what is polar form? We will be coming to that also. Polar form. Okay, so that is the meaning of mod of z. Now let us come to the properties of complex numbers. First one is the addition of complex numbers. Let me rub this. Properties of complex numbers, or operations to be performed on complex numbers. Okay, so number one is addition of complex numbers. Addition of complex numbers. It is much more similar to what we have already done in the real analysis. Okay, that is much more simpler. For example, we have a complex number z1 is equals to x1 plus I y1, and we have another number that is z2 is equals to x2 plus I into y2. If you want to add these two complex numbers, so z1 plus z2, let us say it is equal to some other complex number z, it will be equal to real part will be added together and the imaginary part will be added together. So some of you might not be knowing, okay, some of you, obviously a lot of you might be knowing, but real parts are added together and the imaginary parts are added together. So it is x1 plus x2 plus I times of y1 plus y2. That is how. Number two, similarly subtraction can be done. Similarly, real parts subtracted together and the imaginary parts subtracted together. Next one is called as the division. Okay, let me show you the multiplication, then division. Multiplication of a complex number. Multiplication of a complex number. So let us say we have a complex number z1 is equals to x1 plus I y1, and we have another complex number z2 is equals to x2 plus I y2. If you multiply these two complex number, that is z1 into z2, how to multiply it? The same procedure that we have in the elementary classes, class 12th, class 11th. It will be equal to x1 plus I y1 x2 plus I y2. Okay, let me multiply x1 with the whole and then y1 with the whole. So if you multiply x1 with the whole, it will be equal to x1 x2 plus I y2 plus I y1 x2 plus I y2. And if you solve it, you will be getting x1 x2 plus I y2 x1 plus I y1 x2 minus y1 square. Okay, and the real part and the imaginary part can be taken together. So we will be getting x1 x2 minus y1 square plus I times of y2 x1 plus y1 x2 and so on. So similarly you can do the multiplication also. Okay, very simple. This is not a complicated thing. The third type of application or the third type of operation that we can do on a complex number is the division. And from division questions have been asked in GATE exam from division. Now let us do the division of a complex number. So, okay, so note it down. Then we will proceed to the division of a complex number. Oh, sorry, this is y2, sorry, this is y2, this is y2, y1, y2, it will be y1, y2, y1, y2. Division of a complex number. Division of a complex number. Let us try to understand this particular thing with the help of an example itself. Okay. So let us solve a question. The question is, we have to find 2 plus 3 times of I divided by 3 minus 4 times of I. Okay. And 3 minus 4 times of I. And 4 options are given to us. Option 1, option B, option C, option D. Let us not write the option. Let us directly solve this particular question. Okay, let me rub this one. Now always remember that whenever you are dividing a complex number, what we have to do is that we have to represent a complex number in this form, that is z is equals to x plus I into y. We have to represent this in this form. So here in the denominator also we have a complex number, and in denominator we want a real part, so it is divided by 1. Okay, so we want some real part in the denominator. So what we have to do is that, see, this 2 plus 3 times of I divided by 3 minus 4 times of I. If you do one thing, what is the thing? We know that a plus b into a minus b is equals to a square minus b square. Okay, if you apply this property and you do one thing with the numerator, you multiply this complex number with 3 plus 4i, 3 plus 4i, and you divide this complex number again with the same thing, which is your 3 plus 4i. Let us see what we will get. At the numerator side, you will be getting 2 plus 3 times of I multiplied by 3 plus 4 times of I. In the denominator, you will be getting 3 square a square minus b square, 4 times of I square minus b square. Okay, a square minus b square. So you will be getting 2 plus 3 times of I, 3 plus 4 times of I divided by 3 square is 9, 9 minus 4 square is 16, but I square is minus 1, right? 4 square is 16, I square is minus 1, it will be minus 16. It will be minus 16. Now you can easily solve it, okay? So it will be equal to, if you multiply this, it will be equal to 6 plus 8 times of I plus 9 times of I minus 12 divided by 25. 25, yes, very good. Divided by 25. It will be equal to minus 6 and plus 17 times of I divided by 25. Divided by 25. And it can further be represented as minus 6 upon 25, which becomes the real part, and plus 17 upon 25 I, which becomes the imaginary part. So that is how the division of two complex numbers can be done. So we had 4 options here. The first option was minus 6 upon 25, minus 6 upon 25 plus 7 upon 25 I. Option number B was minus 5 upon 24 plus 9 upon 24, 9 upon 24 I. C was minus 11 upon 25 plus 12 upon 25 I, and D was none of the above. Okay, so these were the options. So this is the correct answer. Okay, from this questions have been asked in GATE exam from this particular thing. Yes, very good. Aslam, yes, very good, Aslam. Let us solve one more question. Question is 2 plus 3I divided by 1 minus I is equal to what? Option number A, I want answer from everyone, okay? 5 upon 12 plus 6 upon 12 I. Option number B, minus 1 upon 2 plus 2.5 I, minus 1 upon 2 plus 2.5 I. Option number C, minus 0.5 minus 2.5 I, 0.5 minus 2.5 I, and option number D, 0.5 plus 3.5 I, 0.5 plus 3.5 I. I want answer from everyone. Till then, let me see some previous year questions, whatever we have learned till now. Okay, I want answer from everyone from this question. Question number 2007 GATE. Question number 41 GATE 2007. GATE 2007. I hope that everybody has the previous year questions in chemical engineering. Okay. Question number 41. Given I is equals to root of minus 1, the ratio I plus 3 upon 1 plus I, sorry, I plus 1, sorry, I plus 1, I plus 3 upon I plus 1 is equal to option number A, I, option number B, minus 2, option number C, minus I plus 2, option number D, I plus 1. You solve this. Let me see some more questions. So please send previous year question PDF of maths. Okay, see, this is not in my hand. You can ask Lalaji or Roma ma'am, they will provide you the PDF. Okay, this is not in my hand actually. Okay, so question number 16, GATE 2005. But don't worry, we'll be solving almost every question. Okay, don't worry. Because in FM also I have promised you that we'll be solving almost every question which you could not solve. So by taking one extra class plus discussing some concepts which you have a little bit doubts, we will be solving, discussing those concepts also. Okay. So question number 16. So let me do it here. Question number 16. Question number 16, where is this? Question number 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yes. Question number 16, GATE 2005. GATE 2005. Again the same type of thing. Given I is equals to under root of minus 1, the ratio 1 plus 2 times of I divided by 1 minus 2. Is it 1 minus, oh, I minus 2, sorry, I minus 2. I minus 2. 1 plus 2 times of I divided by I minus 2 is given by option number A, 1, option number B, minus 1, option number C, I, and option number D, minus I. You solve this? Okay, see, this is important, right? So, questions have been asked from this topic. It seems to be simple, but you might make some calculation mistakes. Okay, it seems to be simple, but you might make some calculation mistakes. So, okay, this is the Cauchy-Riemann equation, contour integral. Okay, this one is okay, Newton-Raphson method, very simple. This one is, we have already done this thing. Okay, the question was 1 plus I. Okay, yes, correct. 3 I plus 3. Sorry. I want answers from everyone. Okay, I have not seen the answers what you have given, but still. Analytic function, I will be telling you just now what is an analytic function. Simpson 1/3 rule. Okay, this is simple question. Again the same thing, contour integral. Let me see some questions. Okay, square root of a complex number, I will be telling you. Okay, the square root of a complex number. Okay, otherwise simple questions, whatever we have discussed till now, the simple questions have been asked. So this is okay, unit vector, this is integration. This simple question. Okay, question number 16, question number 17. Question number 7, not 17, it is question number 127. Question number 127, GATE 2016. GATE 2016. Okay. What are the modulus and argument? What are the modulus r. See here modulus is represented by r. So in polar form modulus is represented by r, the radius, okay, and your theta is represented in terms of e raised to the power I theta. I will be telling you, don't worry, okay. So it is r, and argument theta of complex number 3 plus 4i. Option number A, r is equals to root 7, r is equals to under root of 7, theta is equals to tan inverse 4 by 3. Option number B, r is equals to root 7, theta is equals to tan inverse 3 by 4, tan inverse 3 by 4. Option number C, r is equals to root 5, theta is equals to tan inverse 3 by 4, tan inverse 3 by 4. And option number D, r is equals to 5 and theta is equals to tan inverse 4 by 3, tan inverse 4 by 3. The value of complex number I raised to the power minus 1 by 2. I will be telling you how to solve these types of questions, okay. Square root of a complex number, okay. Cube root of a complex number, that will be coming to topic in a later while. It was asked in GATE 2019, I raised to the power minus 1 by 2, okay. So we have a method to solve these types of questions, don't worry. So, question, okay. Yes. So till now in GATE, so whatever we have discussed till now up to this topic, 1, 2 and 3 questions have been asked, okay. So let me see the solutions. Question number 41. So this, have you solved this question? Question number this one? Okay. Question number this 127D, people are saying D. Question number, give me the answer of that question. 2 plus 3i, that question, okay. That question was 41C, okay. People are saying that question D. People are saying D. Is it D? People are saying B, okay, B. People are saying B, okay, B. Let me solve it again. Okay, C, people are saying C, D, 127D, okay, let us see. Okay, let us start with this question, okay. Most of you have answered these questions, otherwise these are very simple questions, okay. Most of you have answered, some of you might not have answered or they are feeling shy to type the answer, don't worry, let us solve. 2 plus 3i and upon 1 minus I, so 2 plus 3i upon 1 minus I, multiplying it with 1 plus I divided by 1 plus I. Okay, so if you do it like this, it will be equal to 2 plus 3i plus 2i minus 3 divided by 2. Now you can solve it, whatever the answer will be, it will be equal to minus 1 plus 5i divided by 2, that is minus 0.5 and plus 2.5i. Minus 0.5 plus 2.5i minus 0.5. Yeah, this is the correct answer. B is the correct answer. Okay. Question number 41. The ratio of this. Again the same thing. I plus 3 divided by 1 plus I multiplied by 1 minus I upon 1 minus I. Okay. 1 minus I upon 1 minus I. Now you can solve this particular thing also. Okay. So at the bottom we will have 2. At the top we will have I plus 3 and plus 1, because minus plus 1 and minus 3i. So it will be equal to 4 minus 2i upon 2, that is 2 minus I. 2 minus I, that is C is the correct answer. 2 minus I or minus y plus 2. 2 minus I, this is the correct answer. Similarly, this also you can solve. You have to multiply this particular thing with I plus 2 and divide it by I plus 2. Again, you will get the results. Okay. Now, coming to question number 127. What is the modulus? What is the modulus and argument of the complex number? So, what is the modulus of complex number? Under root of x square plus y square. So, modulus of z, which is also represented by r, is equals to under root of 3 square plus 4 square. 3 is 9 and 4 is 16, under root of 25, and it will be equal to 5 plus 5, not minus 5. Now, can anyone tell me why is it not minus 5? Sorry. Under root of 25, it will be plus 5, not minus 5. Because what is this modulus? Modulus is the distance, and distance cannot be negative. Okay, distance cannot be negative. That is why it is not minus 5. Similarly, theta you can get, it will be tan inverse of 4 by 3. Tan inverse of y upon x, that is 4 by 3. Tan inverse of y upon x, that is 4 by 3. Yes, distance cannot be negative. Yes, very good. Tan inverse 4 upon 3. So you will get D as the correct answer. 5 and 4 inverse, yeah, D is the correct answer. Shall I have this? I hope that everybody has noted down. Hypotenuse, yes, okay. Yes, distance, very good. Very good, distance. Now the next topic in complex number, which is in the syllabus, but fortunately questions have not been asked on that topic, and that topic is called as the cube root of unity. So questions have not been asked. It does not mean that questions will not be asked. Questions might be asked from this topic also. Okay, that is called as the cube root of unity. Cube root of unity. Now, what is this cube root of unity? It means that cube root of unity, what will be the value of 1 raised to the power 1 by 3? A lot of you will be saying, sir, it will be 1. Okay, why to complicate it? It will be 1. But no, in mathematics we can have 3 values of this particular thing. Okay, how it will be? Let us see. Let us say that x is equals to 1 raised to the power 1 by 3. You can say that, sir, x cube minus 1 will be equal to 0. I will be okay. Yes, correct. This can further be represented, or this can further be broken into a cube minus b cube. That is a minus b, a square plus ab and plus b square. So it can be further written as x minus 1 x square plus x plus 1 is equals to 0. Clear? So from here we will have one solution. It will be x will be equal to 1. This will be number 1 solution, and plus we will have a quadratic equation also, that is x square plus x plus 1 is equals to 0. Now how to solve this quadratic equation? B square minus 4ac upon 2 times of a. Have you heard that? Right? You must be knowing. So that will be equal to, x will be equal to minus b. So this is a, this is b, minus b plus minus under root of b square minus 4ac. Now b square is 1 square minus 4 into a into c, 4 into 1 divided by 2 times of a, that is 2. Clear? So I will be writing here x will be equal to minus 1 plus minus, it will be equal to under root of 1 minus 4 divided by 2, that is under root of minus 3. Under root of minus 3. Okay, and under root of minus 3 can be written as under root of minus 3 can be written as root 3I, because under root of minus 1 is I. So let us prove it here. So minus 1 plus minus, can I write it like this? Under root of 3 into I somewhere here divided by 2. Clear? So again it will have one root which is 1, that is, say it is your x1 root. X2 root will be written as 1 minus root 3I divided by 2, and another root is which your x3, which is minus 1 and plus root 3I divided by 2. So these are the three roots of this particular 1. So if you put this also, you will get 1. If you put this also, you will get 1. And if you put this also, you will get 1. Okay, so if you do the cube of this, you will get 1. If you do the cube of this, you will get 1. If you do the cube of this, you will get 1. That is the cube root of unity. So what do we do is that sometimes this minus 1 minus root 3I upon 2, it is sometimes written as omega or W. And this minus 1 plus root 3 upon 2, it is written as W square. Because if you do the square of this thing, you will be getting this value. You can also check it. If you do the square of this thing, you will be getting 1 minus 2 root 3 and plus 3. You will be getting minus 2 and plus root 3I upon 2. Plus 2 root 3I upon 2. 2 will get cancelled out. You will be getting minus 1 minus plus root 3I upon 2. Okay, you can, if you do the square of this thing, you will be getting this thing. Okay, now this W square and this 1, it has two properties. The number 1 properties of cube root of unity. Properties of cube root of unity. The number 1 property is that omega whole cube will be equal to 1. This is the number 1 property of this particular cube root of unity. Omega whole cube will be equal to 1. The number 2 property, which will be equal to 1 plus omega and plus omega square, will be equal to 0. This is number 2 property. Omega whole cube is equals to 1 and 1 plus omega square is equals to 0. This is the number 2 property of the cube root of unity. Okay. Now see what type of questions can be asked from this topic. Let us understand this. So people are very fortunate that it is in the syllabus, but questions have not been asked. Okay. If questions are asked from this topic, a lot of people will you can say make mistakes in those types of questions. So let us see a few types of questions which can be asked from this topic. So let me rub this. Question: 1 plus omega minus omega square whole square into 1 minus omega plus omega square whole cube is equals to what? Option number A, 32 omega. Option number B, minus 32 omega. Option number C, 1. Option number D, 0. Okay. Now to solve these types of questions, these two property will be taken into consideration. You do not do that thing, and here it is also given omega is the cube root of unity. Omega is the cube root of unity. Is the cube root of unity. Okay. Now these types of questions you can use these two properties. That is 1 plus omega square is equals to 0 and omega whole cube is equals to 1. You can use these two properties, you will get the answer. Now how to use this property? It is 1 plus omega and minus omega square. 1 plus omega and minus omega square. So from here, can I write that 1 plus omega is equals to minus omega square? 1 plus omega is equals to minus omega square? Yes, I can write. So this can be written as minus omega square whole square. Let us move to the other thing. Clear? Next thing will be 1 minus omega plus omega square. 1 minus omega. So this is 1 minus omega and plus omega square. So this omega square, again here also, this omega square can be written as minus omega square can be written as 1 plus omega also. Or this 1 can also be written in that form. That depends on you what you want to write, right? This 1 can also be written in that form also. Okay. So if you do this 1 minus omega square. So omega square can be written as minus omega square can be written as, or you can say that omega square can be written as minus 1 minus omega. Minus 1 minus omega. So 1 minus omega square is minus 1 minus omega and whole cube. Minus 1 minus omega and whole cube. So this is how we have simplified it. So it can be written as minus 2 times of omega square whole square, and this can be written as 1 got cancelled out. It can be written as minus 2 times of omega whole cube. Clear? Now let me do one thing. This can be written as minus 2 times of a square multiplied by minus 2 times of whole cube, and here we have omega raised to the power 4 multiplied by omega raised to the power 3. Clear? So this can be written as 2 square is 4, 2 into 2 is 4 into 2 is 8, 8 into 4 is 32, and minus also. So minus of 32, and here in bracket it can be written as omega raised to the power 7, and we also know this thing. So this is omega whole cube is equals to 1, omega 6 will also be equal to 1, okay, and omega 7 will be equal to omega 7 will be equal to omega. First let me do the square and then let me multiply both sides with omega. Okay, so omega raised to the power whole 7 will be equal to omega, so it can be written as minus 32 times of omega. Minus 32 times of omega. That is, B is the correct answer. B is the correct answer. Okay, I hope that you have got it. Let me see the answers also. B, Gaurav B, Sharma ji B, Simran B, okay. Aslam B, okay. Sarvanam B, okay. Sarthak B, very good. A Sahu B, I know a few names. A Sahu, Sarthak, I know a few names. Okay. B, yes, very good. B is the correct answer. Okay, if you see the previous year GATE questions have not been asked from the cube root of unity, but it is in the syllabus. So questions might be asked from cube roots of unity. So you must know the concept of cube root of unity, okay? Because in class 12, this is a very famous topic. If you must have appeared for IIT JEE, so it is a very famous topic, cube root of unity. Okay. So now let us move forward. Rest questions about the cube root of unity I will give you in the assignment, okay? And don't call these people, okay? Where is the assignment? So it will take 1 or 2 days, okay? Where is the assignment? Where is the assignment? Okay, so next topic would be square root of a complex number, and that is a very important topic. Square root of a complex number. Square root of a complex number, 1 star, 2 star and 3 stars. Let us understand how to calculate the square root of a complex number directly with the help of an example. If somebody is saying that, let us say that this is a question, calculate the square root of 3 plus 4i, or in question it is written that 3 plus 4i raised to the power 1 by 2. It can be minus 1 by 2 also, because in 2019 it was I raised to the power minus 1 by 2. Okay, so how to solve these types of questions, let us understand. The one method is that very, you can say, innovative method and very tricky method. The thing is that you have 4 options with you. You do the square of the options. You will get the answer itself. Okay, you do the square of the options, you will get the answer itself. If you are getting it, then that is the correct answer. If you are not getting it, that is not the correct answer. Okay, so that is one of the methods you can adopt in examination. 3 plus 4i raised to the power 1 by 2. Let us proceed. Let 3 plus 4i raised to the power 1 by 2, because the square root of a complex number will be a complex number. The square root of a complex number will be a complex number. So let us say it is equals to x plus I y. Let us say this is equals to x plus I into y. Again, do not write in examination let this is equals to this. In examination, directly solve the question, okay? Just to make you understand, I am writing all these things. Let. This is not ESE mains exam or IAS mains exam, okay? That is a gate exam, so you don't have to write. That is the common sense, okay? So, the thing is that let us do the square from on both the sides. If you do a square on both the sides, let us see what we will get. So, it will be equal to x plus I into y square will be equal to 3 plus 4 times of I, because if you do the square it will be equal to 3 plus 4 times of I, and that will be equal to x square plus iy square will be equal to minus y square and plus 2i x into y, it will be equal to 3 plus 4 times of I. Clear? Let us do one more thing, because you know that if 2 numbers are given to you, that is your x1 plus iy1 is equals to x2 plus iy2. If 2 complex numbers are equal, their real part will be equal to each other and the imaginary part will be equal to each other. It means that if you do this, your x1 will be equal to x2 and your y1 will be equal to y2. If 2 complex numbers are given to you which are equal, their real part will be equal and the complex part will be equal. So let us now compare it. Let us do this thing, that is x square minus y square it will be equal to 3. Let us say that this is my equation number 1. Let us say this is equation number 1. Let us say this is equation number 1. This is equation number 2. And 2xy is equals to 4 and 2xy is equals to 4, or I can say that x into y is equals to 2. Let us say this is my equation number 3. This is my equation number 3. Now, till now you have understood that, okay sir, these are the things that we have to do. These are very simple things. We can do these things, okay. Next thing is that you have to find a relation. You have to find a relation such that you can easily get the value of this x square, y square, x and y. Now, how to get the relation? In a lot of books, different methods are given. How to find this relation. But the method which I feel that it is suitable for me, that method is, if you do one thing, that is x square plus y square whole square. If you do this thing. Now the thing is this, why are you doing this thing? Let us say, let us now, I will tell you how to, sorry. X square plus y square whole square. So it can be written as, why I am doing this thing, I will be telling you, okay, why I am doing this thing. It can be written as x raised to the power 4 plus y raised to the power 4 plus 2x square y square. Clear? Let me do one thing. Let me write it here. Minus 2x square y square and add 2x square y square. It will not change it. It will not change it. Okay. Now x square plus y square whole square will be equal to, I can write x square minus y square whole square. X square minus y square whole square plus 4 times of x square y square. I can write it like this. Clear? I can write it like this. So what it will be? Because I want a relation in x and y. These are the two equations, x square minus y square is equal to 3, xy equal to 2. I am not getting any relation so that I can get the value of x and y. Okay. If you put y is equals to 2 by x, y is equal to y, it will become very complicated. It will not be possible for us to solve these types of equations. So we get we need a third link. And how to get a third link? That is the procedure. In a lot of books, different procedures are given, but this is the procedure which I find to be more suitable. Okay. Now, what is this x square minus y square? So, x square minus y square is your 3. What is this x into y? X into y is your 2. So, let us put it here and let us see what we will get. So, this x square plus y square whole square, I will be getting x square minus y square, which is my 3 square. 3 square plus 4 times of x into y square plus 4 times of x into y square. X into y square. So it can be written as x square plus y square whole square will be equal to 9 plus 2 into 2 4 is 4, 16 and 9 is 25 will be equal to 25. And x square plus y square will be equal to plus 5, not minus 5. Can anyone tell me why it will be plus 5? Why not minus 5? Because the summation of square of two real numbers, because y is not a imaginary number, I into y was an imaginary number, I into y was an imaginary number, but y is the real part of the imaginary number, you can say, the real number. It can be 1, 2, 3, 1 by 2, 1 by 3, anything. So the summation of square of two numbers cannot be negative. That is why I have written as plus 5. Okay, so this is the equation number 4 I have. Equation number 4. Now with the help of these equations, I can find the value of x and y. Now let me do one thing. This is one equation, this is that equation. Let me add these two equations. Equation number 2 plus equation number 4. Let me add these two equations. If you add these two equations, you will be getting 2x square is equals to 2x square is equals to 8, or you will be getting x is equals to plus minus 2. X is equals to plus minus 2. Similarly, if you subtract it, that is equation number 4 minus equation number 2, if you subtract it, you will be getting, so x square will get, so 2y square will be equal to 5 minus 3, that is your 2. So your y will be equal to plus minus 1. Now from these two things, that is your x value and y value, we have 4 possibilities. One can be x plus 2, y minus 1. One can be x plus 2, y plus 1. One can be x minus 2, y plus 1. And one can be x minus 2, y minus 1. Now the question is, sir, which combination is the correct combination? So my answer would be that your combination is hidden in equation number 3. Now what does this equation say? It says that x into y is equals to 2. X into y is equals to 2. What does it mean? It means that either both numbers should be negative or both numbers should be positive. Either both numbers should be negative or both numbers should be positive, then only you will get a plus 2 here. So it is plus 2, right? Then only you will get a positive. Either both should be negative or both should be positive. So the correct answer is your x comma y, it can be equal to minus 2 comma minus 1 or plus 2 comma plus 1. That is the combination. So it means that the square root of this particular complex number, it can be written as minus 2 minus I or plus 2 and plus I. Both are the correct answers. Yes, x equal to 2 and x equal to 1. Also x equal to minus 2 and y equal to minus 1. Both are the correct answers. So this type of question can be in MSQ. 4 options are given and 2 options are like this. So minus 1 comma minus 2 comma minus 1 like this. Okay. So out of these 2 options will be correct answer. Minus 2 minus 1 I and plus 2 plus 1 I. Shall I rub this? ज़्यादा तेज तो नहीं हो गया ना? बताना आप मेरे को. Because slowly I will increase the speed. Okay? अगर ज़्यादा fast हो जाएगा तो please let me know if it is fast for you. Because that is my habit. Okay? I start any topic with a very slow speed and then the speed is such that even the students are not able to catch it. Okay? So please tell me if I am going fast, then let me know. So if you are fast, please make it a little bit slow. Okay? सर और तेज, अरे बाप रे, और तेज करेंगे बाकी को भी समझ में आना चाहिए ना. In MSQ there will be any there won't be any negative marking. Yes, till now what we have heard is that in MSQs there will not be any negative marking. Okay, but I feel that this year MSQs are going to play a very important role, because I don't know how many of you remember. So when I was preparing for IIT JEE examination, so in our time we had two examinations, IIT JEE and AIEEE. Okay, so when we used to prepare for IIT examination, so we had these types of questions, multiple select questions, okay, in which more than one options could be correct. But that time we had a negative marking. But nowadays, whatever the feedback we have got, even in the notification also, there will not be any negative marking for MSQs. But MSQs this year are going to play a very important role, because your MSQs will not be correct until and unless you do not know the 100% of the particular question. In multiple choice, what is the thing? Even if you don't know the meaning of a particular option, and if you are finding some option which is correct, you will take that this is the correct answer. Even if you don't know the meaning of B, C is the correct answer. But in MSQs, until and unless you do not know the meaning of B, even if you correct the C, that will not be the correct answer. Okay. And how many questions will be there? See, till now, model test paper has not been released by IIT Bombay, but if you see, two new subjects have been added. One is the environmental science and one is the humanities. And for that, syllabus is given on the GATE IIT Bombay site. If you open the environment syllabus and you scroll it down, you will find a model question paper of environment science, which is not related to us, but still for us reference purpose. You will find that 11 questions are of MSQ, 11 questions, and each of 2 marks. Every question of 2 marks each. So I am telling you that around 22 marks of MSQ. So MSQ is going to play a very important role in this year in deciding your rank in examination. Okay, so focus 100% on the concepts. You don't have to leave any concept that okay, this is the concepts I should not do it. Okay, but you should know each and everything from now. So this was the question. Now let us move to okay. Yes, it will be mentioned. It will be mentioned that MSQ starts from question number 11 to question number 22. It will be mentioned. Okay, otherwise it will become very difficult for you, right? Okay, so if it is not mentioned which is MSQ, which is MCQ, it will be next to, you can say, solve a particular question. Because the options are designed in GATE in such a way that you think that if you have got -1 as the correct answer and something will be given to you under root of I. Okay, something will be given to you which will confuse you. Okay, this might also be the correct answer. Okay. So it will be mentioned to you, don't worry, that MSQs start from this particular question. It will be mentioned, don't worry. Yes, even if you will think that every question is MSQ otherwise. Okay, it will be mentioned, don't worry about it. Okay, for reference purpose, you can go to you can do this thing. After this lecture, you go to IIT Bombay site. Environment, Science and Engineering has been added. You click on the syllabus, you scroll the syllabus down, and there you will find a model question paper. And you will find that it is clearly written MSQ from question number this to this. And each question 2 marks each. So there are 11 questions there. 11 questions, obviously a very important role it is going to play this year. Okay. Yes, it will be mentioned. It will be mentioned. Okay, so let us do one more question. Find square root of 2i. Find square root of 2i. Find square root of 2i. सर एंड करें? अरे एक तो देखो थक गए यार, डैम एमएसक्यू, राइट, यस, ओके सर करें, चलो ठीक है एंड करते हैं ना, ओके ओके, सो लेट्स कॉल इट अ डे, लेट्स मीट इन द नेक्स्ट क्लास, okay, so this is a homework for you, we will discuss this question in the next class, okay, we will discuss this question in the next class, this is a homework for you. Okay, now let's call it a day, let's meet in the next class and we will continue with the complex numbers, okay, thank you.